From freezing rain in southern Ontario to steady snowfall across parts of Quebec, Canada's weather today, March 21st, is being shaped by a lingering late winter pattern that continues to override what should normally be an early spring transition. Across eastern Canada, the atmosphere is locked in a delicate balance where cold surface temperatures are interacting with slightly warmer air above, creating the perfect setup for mixed and hazardous precipitation. This is not a single intense storm system dominating the country, but rather a broad and persistent pattern that is producing localized impacts that are just as disruptive, especially when it comes to travel and day-to-day activities. So let's break this down and understand what is happening across Ontario and Quebec and why conditions remain particularly dangerous, despite the absence of a major headline storm. Starting in southern Ontario, the primary concern today is freezing rain, and this is one of the most deceptive and dangerous forms of precipitation because it does not always appear severe at first glance. What is happening here is that precipitation is falling as liquid rain through a layer of warmer air in the upper atmosphere. But as it reaches the surface, temperatures remain below zero, causing that rain to instantly freeze on contact. The result is a thin but extremely slippery layer of ice forming on roads, sidewalks, vehicles, and exposed surfaces. Even a small amount of freezing rain can create widespread travel hazards, and today's setup is particularly concerning because temperatures are hovering in that critical range between -5 and -12 degrees Celsius, which allows ice to persist without any meaningful melting during the day. Cloudy skies are further reinforcing this situation by limiting solar heating, meaning that even during daylight hours, surfaces remain cold enough to sustain icy conditions. The timing of this event also plays a major role in its impact. Morning and evening hours are especially dangerous because they coincide with peak travel times, and during these periods, the combination of reduced visibility, icy surfaces, and increased traffic volume creates a heightened risk of accidents. Drivers may underestimate the severity of the conditions because the roads can appear simply wet rather than icy, but the lack of traction becomes immediately apparent when braking or turning. This is why even routine commutes can quickly become hazardous under freezing rain conditions. In addition to transportation concerns, there is also a broader safety issue, as icy sidewalks and driveways increase the risk of slips and falls, which can lead to injuries even during short trips outside. As we move east into Quebec, the situation shifts slightly, but remains equally impactful. Here, temperatures are generally cold enough to support snowfall rather than freezing rain. And while snow may seem less dangerous, the type of snow falling today is particularly important. With temperatures still relatively close to the freezing mark, the snow tends to be denser and wetter, which means it compacts easily on roads and creates a slippery, packed surface that can be just as difficult to navigate as ice. Light to moderate snowfall is expected across many areas, and while accumulation amounts may not be extreme, the continuous nature of the snowfall ensures that road conditions gradually worsen over time. This is especially true in areas where previous precipitation has already created a base layer of ice or slush, allowing new snow to build on top and conceal underlying hazards. Another key factor in Quebec is the role of terrain and localized weather effects. In regions with higher elevations or varying landscapes, snowfall can become more intense in specific areas, leading to uneven conditions across relatively short distances. Drivers traveling between communities may encounter rapidly changing weather, moving from light snow into heavier bursts with reduced visibility. This variability adds another layer of complexity to travel planning, as conditions cannot be assumed to be uniform across the region. Additionally, the ongoing cloud cover across Quebec is maintaining a stable but cold environment, preventing any significant warming that might otherwise help improve conditions during the day. From a broader meteorological perspective, what we are seeing today across Ontario and Quebec is a continuation of winter dynamics that have not yet fully retreated. The jet stream remains positioned in a way that allows cold Arctic air to remain entrenched over eastern Canada, while at the same time permitting moisture from the south and west to move into the region. This overlap is what creates mixed precipitation events and sustained periods of snow, and it highlights the challenges of forecasting during seasonal transitions. Small shifts in temperature profiles can lead to significant changes in precipitation type, meaning that areas currently experiencing snow could transition to freezing rain or vice versa, with only minor atmospheric adjustments. The persistence of these conditions is also notable because it suggests that the transition to spring will be gradual rather than abrupt. Instead of a rapid warm-up, temperatures are expected to remain below seasonal averages, allowing winter-like conditions to continue for the time being. This has implications not just for daily weather, but also for longer-term patterns, as delayed warming can affect everything from snowmelt timing to river levels and overall seasonal progression. For now, however, the immediate concern remains the impact on travel and safety, as both freezing rain in Ontario and snowfall in Quebec continue to create hazardous conditions throughout the day. Looking ahead, there is some indication that conditions may slowly improve as the system responsible for today's weather begins to weaken and move out of the region. In Ontario, the freezing rain threat is expected to diminish later in the day as precipitation tapers off and temperatures stabilize, although icy surfaces may persist into the evening due to the lack of significant warming. In Quebec, snowfall may continue into the evening hours before gradually easing, but any accumulated snow will remain on the ground, maintaining slippery conditions even after the precipitation ends. This means that while the most active phase of the weather may pass, the impacts will linger beyond the end of the event itself. Ultimately, today's weather across Ontario and Quebec serves as a reminder that late March in Canada can still deliver full winter conditions, especially when atmospheric patterns align to sustain cold air and active precipitation. The combination of freezing rain, snowfall, and consistently cold temperatures creates a scenario where hazards are not only widespread, but also persistent, requiring ongoing caution and awareness from anyone traveling or spending time outdoors. Even in the absence of a major storm headline, the cumulative effect of these conditions is significant, and it underscores the importance of paying close attention to forecasts and adapting plans accordingly as the situation evolves.